Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to talk once again about one of the worst PC ports of all time. I think we can all come together and officially categorize Monster Hunter Wilds in that elusive threshold, alongside The Last of Us Part 1's The Star Wars Jedi Survivors. In the case of Last of Us Part 1, it has made an immense turnaround. Jedi Survivor still has some issues. There's been titles like Batman Arkham Knight, Assassin's Creed Unity, those latter two also making good comebacks to an extent. But Monster Hunter Wilds still needs a lot of improvements. And recently, if you guys follow this channel, I did a video on this meeting, this talk that Capcom was gonna hold, which, I'm gonna be real, I thought was hilarious when somebody brought this to my attention. But now, the event titled Making Monster Hunter Wilds Run Smoothly, everything you need to know about optimization. This event, this session, this speak, whatever it was gonna be, being held at CEDEC, which is Japan's largest game development conference, has been canceled. Now, Capcom has not given a reason as far as why it has been canceled. There's been some speculation that the cancellation was from Capcom getting a lot of backlash and, you know, various things going on. And I know some people, whenever something like this happens, you know, there's a lot of wild backlash that any company gets. You get developers talking about how they get crazy DMs, and in the case of Monster Hunter Wilds, I am sure some Capcom employees and people around Capcom, they've been sent some pretty harsh messages. And I'm not saying that it's okay that people send harsh messages, insulting messages, death threats, like, bro, like, we all agree that that stuff is insane. However, we can't start using that as a crutch, being like, man, you know, Monster Hunter Wilds, we're working hard on it, but these death threats that we're getting, they're just holding us back. And I feel like sometimes we use that as a bit of a crutch. Bro, the 98% of the gaming community that's playing Monster Hunter Wilds, they're not sending death threats. It's the crazies that send death threats. And that's in every facet. I often see, oh my god, this fandom is so insane. They send death threats, or they're sending these crazy Bro, that's just crazy people. Crazy people exist in this world. There is nothing you can do about it. Pointing attention to it probably just reinforces the crazy behavior. That's just the reality of the situation. And I'm sorry to say that when you're talking about online and people behind a keyboard and all this stuff, you're gonna deal with some craziness. You're gonna deal with people saying some wild stuff. I've had wild comments and whatnot. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, I've never gotten anything too crazy. Never have I gotten a death threat. Surprise! You know, I say that, and now somebody's gonna hit me with it. But like, you know, I've gotten insulting messages here and there, and you can't take it that seriously. But yes, I agree that death threats are crazy. But guess what? The world has some crazy people. Me saying that it's crazy isn't gonna do anything. But nonetheless, going back to the event itself, and Capcom again didn't specify why the reasoning was that this event is getting canceled. But when this event first came to light that it was gonna happen, like, this was just straight up comedy. I almost was like, yo, this is kind of awesome, and how nonsensical this is. The event, and maybe there was a translation issue, making Monster Hunter Wilds run smoothly, that is a lie. That is an absolute 100% lie. My dudes, this game is at like a 12% positive reception on Steam as far as recent reviews. And then, bro, the title continues, everything you need to know about optimization. What do you mean, everything you need to know about optimization? Capcom, what are you going to tell us about optimization? What are you going to tell people in the attendance about optimization? Y'all just released Dragon's Dogma 2 last year. That was a pile of trash as far as optimization is concerned. Monster Hunter Wilds is a pile of trash as far as optimization is concerned. This should be titled, How to Release an Awful Port, Scam Your Fans of $70 and Keep on Moving, because that's what they've done. They are looking to make Monster Hunter Wilds better. Somebody asked in a conference call, a shareholder meeting, One shareholder stated there have been concerns raised regarding recent titles, including insufficient content volume and optimization issues. Capcom responded, the development team carefully reviews all feedback received from our users, and that was in regards to Monster Hunter Wilds as well. This has been a clown show, and yes, you can make the argument, and certainly, oh, Monster Hunter Wilds sold like 10 million copies, or however many million copies. It sold that well in spite of all the performance issues. In any world, do you think Capcom looks at the Steam page and they want to see overwhelmingly negative reception? No, they don't. And ultimately, that does damage to an IP, you guys. Yes, maybe Monster Hunter Wilds did incredibly well commercially, piggybacking off the success of Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter World, but this does damage to the future entry. Now, in the future, maybe Monster Hunter Wilds gets completely patched up, they release the expansion's really well received, they continue to update the game, and everything is sunshine and rainbows. But this is something that people are going to remember as far as the atrocity that Monster Hunter Wilds is, and it's just unfortunate. And it's one thing that I mentioned about PC gaming as a whole, and it's not the hardware's fault. I'm not saying, oh my god, it's my RTX 4070's fault, how could you do this to me? It doesn't matter whose fault it is, it's Capcom's fault. Like, let's be honest, like, the optimization is Capcom's fault, but ultimately, it comes down to the user experience, and I keep going back to it, and not to say that Monster Hunter Wilds is running perfectly on PlayStation 5. It is not, but I will say this, whenever a game like a Monster Hunter Wilds, like a Spider-Man 2, like a Last of Us Part 1, like a Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and I can go down the list, runs poorly on my $1,500, $2,000 PC, $3,000 PC, that stings a lot more. And with Monster Hunter Wilds, for a lot of people, it was a game-breaking issue. Spider-Man 2 was a disaster when that game initially dropped. It was not a disaster on PlayStation 5, and you're talking about me playing the game on a $1,500 PC. That kind of stuff, to me, is without a doubt the #1 failure of PC gaming. And it's not PC gaming's fault, it's an optimization issue, and you could say, hey, just wait for the game to get fixed up. You know, I want to play the big games right when they come out, sue me. And console games have issues, but you know, this is somebody that primarily plays games and new releases on PC. Man, like, sometimes the issues I face are just so annoying, and it's like, it's not even like the major ones, like Spider-Man 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, those were very well known. Pirate Yakuza having crashing issues, like, stuff like that is just so unfortunate, and there are times where I can forego a crash here or there, I can forego a stutter here or there, but when it becomes game-breaking, that's when it becomes a problem. And I know Pirate Yakuza wasn't this abundant issue that a lot of people experience, but certainly people out there experience. But the game ended up getting fixed up pretty quickly, and it runs fine now, and it ran fine at launch. I just had some crashing issues with that game, and that was one of those issues that I was more so in the minority, but there were certainly people facing issues with that game as well. But Spider-Man 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, you know, the Callisto Protocol, Stuttering Protocol, as I like to call it, when that came out, there have just been some really, really bad ones. Monster Hunter Wilds, obviously, an egregiously bad example of a horrendous PC port, and the fact that they wanted to do, like, an event, a conference, whatever you want to call it, at some point you just gotta laugh at stuff like that. And I get it that sometimes that people get crazy over things, and they send death threats and things like that. Like, death threats are never okay, but at the same time, yes, death threats aren't okay. You want to know what's also incredibly scummy? Releasing a broken $70 product. These products have a refund window. That's all it is. It's a window. You put 2 hours in it, GG, no re. You ain't getting that refund. This is an absolute scam, and I feel like more games, and Monster Hunter Wilds needs to be called out for it, but games in general absolutely need to be called out for it in general. And you see how a Sony, for example, was scheming around. Like, they knew Spider-Man 2 was gonna be bad. Don't tell me that it was sheer coincidence that Spider-Man 2 had no marketing attached to it. Like, let's say Stellar Blade. Look at Stellar Blade and the marketing push that PlayStation put on that comparatively to Spider-Man 2. You telling me that was just, well, we just accidentally forgot to promote Spider-Man 2. No, they knew damn well. They knew damn well about Last of Us Part 1. They knew damn well about Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and they try to scheme around in these situations, and that is absolute scum behavior. Yeah, you want to talk about people being crazy, and it's a small amount of people in the grand scheme of things that are being crazy and sending wild messages. You know what's not a small amount of people? The regular individual that just has a vested interest in a Spider-Man 2, a Monster Hunter Wilds, a Last of Us Part 1. That's a large group of people that are getting effed over and that are getting scammed. And again, some games get better over time with patches and whatnot, but it's still inexcusable games being released at the state of a Last of Us Part 1, of a Spider-Man 2, of a Jedi Survivor, of a Callisto Protocol, of a Monster Hunter Wilds. And Monster Hunter Wilds came out 5 months ago at this point, and this game's still a pile of trash. What is going on here? But that's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.